Pour vous, nous ne cesserons jamais d'innover pour toujours mieux vous servir.
Thanks for joining us on G24 for the main edition of the news in English. Good evening. I am your host for 13 minutes of intense information. Stay tuned, we take the headlines. In Rwanda, we talk about the Batete program, which focuses on healing of children and teenage girls that have been raped or abused sexually and emotionally. The details in this news edition. In Gabon, the energy and water company participates in the 13th consultative meeting of the Forum of African Regional Energy Pools in Saly, Senegal, from October 12 to 16, 2021, at the initiative of the Association of Electricity Companies of Africa. Hold on, I'll be back for more. The jingle. Good evening. Once more, we open in politics. This is a first in Tripoli. In 10 years, the Libyan Foreign Ministry is organizing an international ministerial conference for stability in Libya this Thursday, 21st October. 30 delegations are expected in the Libyan capital, Tripoli. John Cyrillando tells us more.
Some 30 ministerial delegations are expected, including French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian, who will be there in Turkish Diplomacy No. 2, as well as neighboring countries, including Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, Chad, and Sudan, not to mention the UN and representatives of the European Union, the African Union, and the Arab League. All are invited by Tripoli to support the security aspect of the transition, the maintenance of the ceasefire in force since the fall of 2020, and the withdrawal of foreign fighters. The security component is only one of the three discussed this year in Geneva. The stated priority of this meeting is the holding of elections, normally scheduled for December and considered by Libyan partners as crucial to consolidate the transition. The government of Abdel Hamid Beba wants to resume the initiative. The talks will also be about the military and economic components. On the latter, the conference must support the unfreezing of Libyan assets abroad and openness to investment. Under the terms of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs communiqué, Libya intends to coordinate the assistance provided by the international community to meet the country's urgent needs.
Also, for more than 45 years, bilateral cooperation between Libreville and Lomé has not ceased to intensify. The proof is in the official visit of Togolese Prime Minister Victoire Tomega Dogbe this Wednesday. The details with Fiti Bimuleka.
This meeting was an opportunity for the two counterparts to review the state of relations between Gabon and Togo. This visit comes 3 months after that of the Togolese Minister of Environment and Forestry Resources. And then, this is the first trip to Gabon for Victoire Tomega Dogbe, head of the Togolese government, who was received this Wednesday 20th by her counterpart, Rose Cristiano Soukaraponda. This visit is part of the cooperation and friendship ties that unite the two countries.
Togo and Gabon are two broadly and friendly countries, and the bilateral axis between Libreville and Lomé is a model of cooperation that materializes every day the South-South partnership. It is an exemplary and dynamic partnership.
In addition to the highly diplomatic aspect, this meeting symbolizes the encouragement given by two avant-garde heads of state in the policy of gender equality and equity on the continent.
For our two countries, the relationship is already good. It is old. Now we have to innovate. We must do our best to make this relationship more beneficial to our people.
Since March 1975, Gabon and Togo have maintained excellent relations of brotherhood and friendship through the agreement creating a large joint commission of cooperation, essentially politically speaking. In recent years, meetings between the two President Ali Bongo Ondimba and Faure Gnassingbe have multiplied.
We stay in Togo as the country celebrated this October 20th the second edition of the Month of Local Consumption in a virtual format around the theme Competitiveness of Local Products and Services on the Aftermarket. Let's watch. Consuming local and making Togo competitive on the continental market, that is the whole issue of this celebration, which has as its main objective the economic and sustainable development and the improvement of the living conditions of the populations through consumption of local products. The Togolese authorities thus want to contribute to the enhancement of local production and to the significant increase in the share of the national private sector in African markets. An opportunity for players in the local production chain to discuss the challenges facing them, particularly in terms of quality, product certification, taxation, and packaging. A dynamic to promote local consumption is necessary, while the country has just adopted a national strategy that aims to identify commercial and industrialization opportunities, constraints, as well as the measures necessary to derive better benefits from regional markets and continental in the financial, agricultural, processing and telecommunication sectors. Let us recall that the Month of Local Consumption is an initiative of the WAEMU Commission and is celebrated in all the 8 member states of the space. On a different note, the Gabon Energy and Water Company, SEEG, participates in the 13th consultative meeting of the Forum of African Regional Energy Poles in Saly, Senegal, from October 12 to 16, 2021, at the initiative of the Association of Electricity Companies of Africa. Maria Batista Bina has the details.
The purpose of this meeting was to share and capitalize on the different experiences of the main players in the sector, in addition to the establishment of the platform to monitor the performance of African electricity companies. Issues related to the energy challenges facing the continent were also on the agenda. According to the Managing Director of SEEG, Alain Patrick Koumar, 600 million Africans out of the 950 million still do not have access to electricity. To meet this growing demand, the region will have to considerably increase its installed production capacity and make significant improvement to its electricity networks. The strategy proposed by SEEG to ASEA is for African power companies to shift their focus from now toward the development of the renewable energy sector in order to meet basic needs. Recall that ASEA aims to promote the development and integration of the African electricity sector through the interconnection of electricity networks, the exchange of experiences and know-how, as well as the joint exploitation of energy resources on the basis of a win-win approach for all members.
In Rwanda, Batete, which means affection, is the name of a program that focuses on healing children and teenage girls that have been raped, abused sexually and emotionally. Let's find out what it's all about with Futi Bimuleka.
In Rwanda, post-traumatic stress disorder has become a very common problem amongst the population. Media report that nearly 1 in every 6 Rwandans suffer from depression. Observers and partners in health have noticed that different organizational programs like Batete have scaled up their efforts to raise awareness on mental health and heal victims of mental disorders. On its part, the Batete program focuses on healing children and teenage girls that have been raped, abused sexually and emotionally. It is reported that during COVID-19 health crisis in the country, there was a lot of violence against children. Media report that this is not just a Rwandan case only. It is a global pandemic where girls are being, most of the time, raped and facing all sorts of sexual assault during the lockdown. Mainly on a global overview, it is reported that during COVID-19, the rise in teenage pregnancies has been really high. The number have multiplied over and over again. Now these children need social assistance. It justifies the great importance of the Batete program. Indeed, Batete means affection, and being affectionate. The Batete program hosts these girls in a discreet boot camp for a certain period of time where they go through healing and empowerment sessions such as counseling from different mentors, trauma healing through arts, music therapy, show making. Statistics from the Rwanda Investigation Bureau show that between June 2019 and July 2021, at least 579 people committed suicide due to mental illness.
Rwanda to Kenya, but this time in culture, the country which has long been regarded as the breeding ground of Olympic champions in track and field. Lean, strong and fast, Kenyan runners are fierce competitors, winning medals across the globe. But have you ever wondered what makes these Kenyan athletes so special? The secret may be a little known indigenous drink called mursik. Vanessa Togo tells us more.
When Kenyan heroes and heroines return to their villages after winning trophies and breaking world records, the first part of the congratulatory reception is often a sip of mursik, a traditional fermented milk in a calabash gourd. Mursik is an integral part of the culture and heritage of the Kalenjin community, home to many of Kenya's renowned runners. As such, the Tenji fermented milk has become synonymous with the country's athletics. With its history tracing back more than 300 years, mursik likely started as a way of preserving milk during sulfate production times. Dairy farmers begin with fresh cow, goat, or sometimes sheep milk, then boil it and cool it to ambient temperatures. Then they pour it into a calabashed gourd known as the sauté. The sauté, which has been lined with the charcoal of specific trees, is then kept and stored in a cool, dry, to allow for spontaneous fermentation. The charcoal inside the sauté imparts a unique smoky flavor to the milk as well as a bluish color which is of high aesthetic value to the consumer. The resulting milk should be smooth and sour. However, the flavor of different batches of mursik can vary significantly. It's heavily dependent on how it was prepared and the quality of original milk.
We have come to the end of this newscast. Let's take a last look at the headlines. In Rwanda, we talk about the Batete program, which focuses on healing of children and teenage girls that have been raped or abused sexually and emotionally. In Gabon, the Energy and Water Company participates in the 13th consultative meeting of African Forums in Sali, Senegal, at the initiative of the Association of Electricity Companies of Africa. It's always a pleasure to inform you. Information continues on our social medias. Special shout out to the English newsroom and the technical team led by Alex Ngoy. I'll be back with more news at 10:30 p.m. Stay tuned for Gael Mapesi at 8 p.m. for the French news. For now, goodbye.